Okay, hello. I'm gonna give this a couple of seconds to see if someone is popping in on time today. However, first of all, I'm going to say that the topic why most of us want to stop eating sugar, or do we really, is when I put this topic up yesterday, I was actually thinking about talking about the competing desires of the lower brain versus the higher brain, and how this cognitive dissonance is very draining, and you're basically being at war with yourself, and that is never a good thing. It's going to create a lot of conflict, and in the end, your lower brain is going to win every single time you have that conflict. But then when I was thinking about what I was going to say today, I had a different thought, and I felt much more compelled to share this. So I'm going to share this with you today rather than what I was actually going to talk about, because I think this is really important, but it's a little bit different from what I've been doing the last few days. So maybe that's a good thing. So what I will talk about today is how most people want to quit sugar, but going from wanting to actually quitting is a very, very big step. So something has to happen for this to come true. We can't just sit around and want to quit sugar, waiting for the quitting to happen without taking any action. So what many of us don't really know is that we don't really take this action because we don't really want to quit. This is the part I'm not really going to talk about today, but I will bring it up later. But just think about that. What is the reason why you want to quit? And what reasons do you have for not wanting to quit? That is almost more important, because often we will come up with things like, oh, life will be very boring without sugar. I don't really want to go to parties if I can't have any crap food, chips, sweets, whatever could be there. So ask yourself then, why not? Why do I not want to go to a party if I can't be eating? Surely going to a party should be about connecting with other people and not about eating the food. So is this just because the party is no fun? Or is there something else behind it? So ask yourself, why do I not want to quit sugar, rather than why do I want to quit sugar? And you might get a few ideas there for why you haven't been able to quit, because if you don't really want it, it's not going to happen. So just sharing a little bit, for me, over the years, I've always started noticing more and more that I felt really bad when I was eating a lot of sugar. When I was a little bit younger, I didn't notice it as much, as in I did have headaches, but I didn't really connect them to eating sugar at the time. But now it's when I started eating a low carb or ketogenic diet, and that must have been, gosh, maybe 12, 14 years ago. It's easy to stay off sugar. I think I told you this yesterday or the day before, but you're balancing your hormones better, you have a better insulin sensitivity, and you get rid of all those physiological withdrawal symptoms. So we don't have that distraction. The only thing that is still there, that's the cravings in my brain. They will still be there, which meant that I could go a certain time without eating sugar, and then I would always get back to it at some point, and then I would go off, and I would go on, and off and on, and so on. And every time I went on, I started noticing how I'm much more tired, more brain fog, the headaches are coming back, I get more irritable, and all those things. So I started noticing over time that I'm really not functioning well when I eat a lot of sugar. And I always wish that I somehow would get this revelation, and that my cravings would magically just go away if I stayed off for a certain period of time. Just if I managed to stay off sugar for this long, then my cravings surely would disappear. Now, some of this was probably because I hadn't put it together, and I didn't really know that about the neural pathways, and that by eating keto treats, for example, that mainly consist of fat and some sort of sweetener, I still reinforced its pathway, even though I wasn't actually eating sugar. But in reality, I wanted sugar. So I kept reinforcing this neural pathway. So I didn't know that. So I didn't know the damage that I was doing to myself by continuing to eating these keto treats, for example. If I had been able to not do that, if I didn't have anything in my life that I was substituting instead of eating the real sugar, then things might have been a little bit different. But that also depends on whether that is something I do with my willpower, if I'm resisting it, that I was talking about yesterday, or if I would just allow it. Because I think this is a missing piece as well, which I wouldn't have been able to figure out on my own, because that is not easy to just suddenly realize that that's actually missing. So I haven't quite been that pathetic that I've been sitting and actually physically crying over it, but inside I have desperately wanted to find the magic pill to just stop having cravings for sweets and being able to stop eating them. Because every time I ate them, I knew that what I was doing was not good for me, but somehow I couldn't resist this. That is the cognitive dissonance. I didn't want to do it, but still I really wanted to do it, and that's my lower brain just taking over. So what I didn't realize at the time is that I was not committed to actually quitting sugar. I could tell myself all day long how much I wanted to quit, but I wasn't committed. And how do I know this? Because I wasn't. I didn't take the actions that would be required for me to quit. I would take some actions, but I wouldn't take enough action to actually get to my goal. I wouldn't follow through, or I would just do it for a short period of time. And that is never going to work if you want to quit sugar. It's never going to work if you are trying to do something else in your life and you're just doing it for a little bit and then you quit. So I just want to read out here. I want to distinguish between wanting something and being committed. So the definition of wanting something is to desire something or to wish for something. So there's absolutely no action required for wanting something. It's a totally passive brain activity that you do. I can stand here in front of this camera all day and I can say to you, I want $1 million. I want triple glazing and proper insulation in this house because it's cold. I want all of you to instantly be free from your cravings because I say so. I want a lot of things, but me wanting them will not make them so. Ever. Because it's really easy for me to just sit here and want things. It's very easy, it's very comfortable, and it's safe. Because it doesn't require any action on my part whatsoever. I don't have to do anything else than think it. So I don't have to put myself at risk of failing. Because I just want it. I'm not even trying to get it because I'm just wanting it. So I don't have to humiliate myself by not being able to do it. By just wanting it. So now think of the neural pathways as well. So those are the neurons that are firing together and they're used to doing it together. So when one goes, the other goes. And you might be sitting there and you might have this thought, I want to quit sugar. I want to quit sugar. I never want to eat sugar again. Or I want to just be able to eat sugar like a normal person, or I want to be able to moderate myself, or whatever thought you have. And you're thinking this over and over and over again. You're going to get really, really good at thinking this thought because you're practicing it every day. And you're forming this neural pathway in your brain of this thought going, oh, I want to quit sugar. I want to quit sugar, and so on. So now I want to ask you, you're really good at thinking it. You're creating this neural pathway. So think about what we spoke about yesterday. So you're really good at doing it. What feeling do you think that thinking this thought will create for you? So you're thinking, I want to quit sugar. I want to quit sugar. What are you going to think as a result of that? Or what are you going to feel, rather? Not think, because you're already thinking. So it will create desire. Same thing as I want to have that cake. It creates desire or a craving for cake. I want to quit eating sugar. Creates desire for quitting sugar. And you might think that that is a good thing. But the one thing that wanting does not create is results. Now, so this is really important. So by thinking this over and over again, because you're so focused on, I want to quit sugar, you think that it's probably a good thing to be focused on it, that will motivate me to get there, and you get really good at it, and that increases your desire to get there. And then what? You're still just wanting it. It's not creating any results. So what's going to happen is, this is what you have now, which is you're eating a certain amount of sugar. And you want to get up here. I'm not eating any sugar whatsoever. The gap from where you are now to where you want to go is just going to increase, because you're going to feel so unhappy and unsatisfied, and you might be talking down to yourself because you're not able to quit, and so on. And it's just going to create a lot of negativity. So wanting things is not actually very useful unless you are going to get it. Okay? So rather than wanting something, I want to talk about being committed to getting something. So again, I'm going to read out the definition of commitment. So this is quite a nice definition that I found, and that is, the definition of commitment is being committed to following through on a course of action. So you need to be willing to follow through all the way until you have the results that you want. This does not mean that you're stopping halfway. It doesn't mean that you stop at 90%. And it doesn't mean that you sit on your ass wanting it. So it's all about taking actions until you get to the goal. And this is not easy, and it's not comfortable. It means you have to do something, and you might fail along the way. So every time we try to quit sugar and then we are falling off the wagon, we're going to beat ourselves up. You're going to think, oh, well, I couldn't do it this time either. I better just go and have a tub of ice cream because I've already failed, and so on. Rather than keeping your goal in your mind. So, okay, I failed. Now what? How committed am I? Am I going to continue pursuing my goal of quitting sugar, or am I going to let a little failure along the way totally ruin everything that I have done up until now? So you need to ask yourself those questions. So I'm going to give you a bit of maybe a silly example, but hopefully this will stick in your mind. So just imagine that you're sitting at home and you get a craving for a donut. and you're having these thoughts that I really want a donut. Yeah, I would really like a donut. One of those super crispy ones on the outside with lots of yummy custard inside. That would be really, really nice. And while you're sitting there and you want this donut, it's not just magically going to appear in front of you, is it? If you are committed to getting this donut, you're gonna go and get the donut. If you just want the donut, you can sit there for hours and just want that donut, and that's not a problem, is it? So you're making the decision that you're gonna go and get the donut, and you know that the local bakery has them, and they're really, really good. So you have to get up, you have to stand up, you have to walk over, find your wallet, put the wallet in your pocket, and you're walking out to your car, unlocking the car, getting in, starting the car, you drive off to the bakery. You park the car, you lock the car, you're going in and you're just quickly scanning the shelf. Yep, they're there. And you join the queue. Can you see how many actions you have taken to get to standing in the queue? That's quite a lot of single actions that you have taken to get to where you are right now. Okay? So you're standing there in the queue, and it's your turn, and the lady comes up and she says, "What can I help you with?" And you say, "I'd like 1 or 3 or however many donuts you want." Let's say 1 donut, because we're very good here. And she says, "Okay," and she's picking up the tongs, and she gets that donut out, and she puts it in this brown little paper bag. She rolls it up, she hands it over to you over the desk, and says, "Okay, that's $2. And you just stop, and you're thinking to yourself, "Oh my God, I have done all these things. I picked up my wallet, I walked to the car, I drove here, parked, I'm standing in this queue, and I still don't have my donut. What is the point? I think I'm just going to go home again. It's so frustrating. I don't have my donut yet. What is the point of continuing trying to get this donut?" Now, no one would really do this, but I hope that you see my point here. You wouldn't just stop right before you have that donut because you're wanting it and you're not fully committed. You're just 90% committed. So you're stopping, you're not actually buying the donut because it's taken too long. You have done too many things already. You can't be bothered to continue pursuing this project of getting this donut. So you're just going to go home. Now, this wouldn't apply to anyone buying a donut, I don't think, because it's really easy to see that that transaction was just going to give you the donut. But we do this with so many other things in our lives. So I'm not just talking about cravings now, I'm talking about exactly everything that we're not following through with. But since this is about cravings, I'm applying it to cravings. So you need to be 100% committed to get to the goal. You cannot be 90% committed, because then you wouldn't get there. And that is the same thing as not being committed at all, because the result is the same. If you're not doing it 100%, you get nothing. So you've done all these things for nothing. And I don't think anyone would be very pleased with themselves after that, and that will just lead to even more trash talk about yourself and so on. So another scenario that could have happened is that when she's asking you for the $2, you get a $2 coin out of your wallet, and for some reason you're dropping it. And magically it just rolls down the drain. And that was your last $2. So what are you going to do now? Are you just going to go back home and see it as a defeat because you didn't get your donut, you tried your best, but you didn't get it? Then you weren't committed, were you? You could ask the lady, say, "Oh shit, I just dropped my last $2. Could I just have that donut in for free, please? Maybe you can fish my coin up later. Or you could ask the other people in the queue if they have some spare change. They could maybe help you out. Or you could go to the cash machine and get some cash and come back and get your donut anyway. So there are many solutions to the problem. There are many ways that you could go to actually get this donut. And that's always what is happening in real life. There are so many things that you could go or could do to get what you actually want, to get to the 100%. So, as you can see, it's being 100% committed isn't always going to be smooth. It's not always going to be comfortable or easy. Whereas wanting something is really, really easy. You can just sit and want it all day if you like. There's no harm other than that it's increasing your desire. So when we are making a decision, whether we're going to pursue something, you always need to ask yourself the question, do I just want this, or am I committed to getting this? Because if you have a competing desire, like I want to quit sugar, but then you don't really want to quit sugar, because you have reasons for why not quitting sugar would actually be a good idea, then you're never going to be 100% committing to quitting sugar. So you need to take a step back before you think that I'm going to go and quit sugar now, and actually explore what it is that is going on. Your higher brain will think it's a brilliant idea to quit sugar because of many reasons, I'm sure. I don't know what your personal reason is, but I already told you about mine. And when I just want it, and I'm trying a little bit here, I'm dabbling a little bit there, it's never going to happen. But when you're 100% committed, you do not stop until you are sugar-free. And now this may be something that is ongoing. My goal now is not to be 100% sugar-free. My goal now is to be 100% in control of what I'm doing. So I want my higher brain to always be in control. I'm allowing myself to have sugar if I want to, but only 24 hours ahead of time. That is my decision. So 24 hours from now, I can have sugar if I decide it now. So if I'm having a craving today, I decide, yes, I can have it, but tomorrow. Most likely my craving is not going to be there tomorrow. And the longer you're not eating sugar, the less cravings you're going to have and the less intense they're going to be. So it's not going to be a problem. At some point, I might get to a stage in my life when I don't want to eat sugar at all anymore. Now, I'm not quite there yet, and I still enjoy it when I do it, but I don't feel like I need to have sugar. And that is very releasing. So just keep this in mind, the difference between wanting and being committed, and if you actually really want to quit sugar. And explore, ask yourself the question, why do I not want to quit sugar? And that will tell you a lot about why you're struggling with this. So do you want it, or are you committed? And that was all for today. Thank you very much for joining, and I will see you again tomorrow with a new topic. Okay, take care.